One other thing before we get into the book itself, I'd like to give you an outline. And this is one of those times that I almost wish I was using a view graph, but I got away from that years ago because it forces me to put more on the tape. So I want to give you an outline. I'm going to try to describe how to do this. I'm going to give you about 6 indentations and then come back out. So you'll go, in other words, we're going to have 11 lines. There's 11 parts to the book of Jude, but structurally it's quite interesting. If you can make 11 lines, the first and the last line is the assurance for the Christian. It opens with assurance for the Christian, and it closes with assurance for the Christian. That's no surprise. He's going to talk about apostasy, but he's going to talk to you people, not the apostates. So one thing he wants to do is give you assurance, both up front and at the end. The second section, from the beginning, is the same idea as the second from the end. The believer and the faith. So your second and 10th, in other words, the second one from the front and the second one from the back, the title would be the believer and the faith. The third from the front end is apostates described. And the third from the back end is apostates described. The fourth subject, so to speak, and I'll go over this again and give you the verses, is apostasy in Old Testament history. The fourth from the end is apostasy in Old Testament prophecy. The fifth section or part is apostasy in the supernatural realm. And the fifth from the end is apostasy in the natural realm. And the middle section is a trio, a very select trio of apostates that he focuses on. So to go once again, we're going to go 6 down and then back in. The first one is assurance for the Christian, that's verses 1 and 2. The second section is the believer and the faith, verse 3. The third part is apostates described, verse 4. The next section is apostasy in Old Testament history, and that's verses 5 through 8. That'll be quite an interesting survey. The next section is apostasy in the supernatural realm, verses 9 and 10. That's the spooky stuff. Then we have verse 11, which is sort of the fulcrum for the whole structure here, an ancient trio of apostates. The next section, apostasy in the natural realm, verses 12 and 13. Apostasy in Old Testament prophecy, verses 14 through 16. Apostates described, verses 17 through 19. The believer and the faith, verses 20 through 23. And assurance for the Christian, verses 24 and 25. What fascinates me about that, there's lots of outlines. You can take any book and find, 7 authors will have 7 different outlines. But this one kind of intrigues me because it shows that there's an underlying structure to this book that's really quite provocative. Okay, so much for that. That gives us our 25 verse thing.